Hey guys, Jeff here at MACkite, and I'm here to kind of go over a little bit about you're ready to travel with your wing foil gear. It's a question we get asked a lot. What bag should I take? What are the airlines going to charge? What generally should I bring when I go on a trip? These are all very good questions. Fortunately, I've had some experience in just the last couple of years of packing my own gear. I also get the luxury of being able to travel without gear and having gear ready when we get there. But for those of you that are about ready to travel or have traveled before, I'm just going to go over an experience of kind of what I've learned through travel with my wing foil gear. And we're going to start here with the Manera. We sell the Manera bags here. There's two bags that we sell, the Manera 747 and the Manera Wing Foil Bag. I've used both of them, and I'm going to go over in this video what is the advantage of the 747 over the wing foil Manera bag, and maybe what the dedicated wing foil board bag for travel has advantages over the 747. So to kind of break it down, right here in front of me, I've got the 6'2" wing foil 747 bag. And where the 747 shines, it's really kind of a dedicated kite traveling bag where you could put your kite board, 3 kites, and maybe even a surf board in it. But where it comes in handy for wing foiling is with the midi boards. Midi boards are narrower and longer, and that's where I feel the 747 bag has a leg up on the wing foil board bag that Manera makes. Because it is narrower and longer, it kind of fits more of the profile of the board. And that's kind of what you have to build off when you're traveling, your board. I've traveled with boards that are just about the exact length of the bag. I generally don't like doing that. I don't mind it as long as I can pad the nose in particular. And I'll get into that in a little bit, what I like to use to pad the nose of a board, in no matter what bag that you're traveling with. But with the middies, I'm discovering the 747 is a great bag. The board that I have inside here is 5'9", and the 747s, they come in the 5'1", 5'7", 6'2", and 7'2". So I was forced, obviously, to go to the 7'2", which gives me a little added room, which I find is not a problem. What do you bring with you when you go on a wing foiling trip? Well, before I answer that question, the key is how much do you want to spend? Generally speaking, airlines will not charge you more than the added check-on bag of about $45 if the bag weighs under 50 pounds. That's the key right there, 50 pounds and under. And so that's generally where the cutoff is with airlines. If it's over 50 pounds, gets into 60, 70 pounds, they're going to charge you $100 on top of maybe the $45 that you already spent for your check-on bag. So I've experienced both. We oftentimes joke too, we hope we get a joyful, someone that checks us in that's, it's not like, what is this? What are you bringing? Someone that just kind of says, oh, yeah, this looks good, and just, you're on your way. But anyways, that's the key, 50 pounds and under. So if you want to keep it 50 pounds and under, then what you bring is kind of, you got to think about what is important to bring so that you can do the most time on the water with that weight. What I found it to be is your board, 1 foil set, 2 wings, and my harness. Generally speaking, if you stick within that guidelines, again, your board, 2 wings, your foil set, and your harness, you should, without a doubt, stay with, generally speaking, under that 50-pound mark. This bag weighs in, it's a 6'2" bag with a 5'9" board, 2 wings. I have a foil set and 1 extra front plane, and I have my harness in here, and it comes in at 47 pounds. I could put maybe a beach towel in here. Generally, for saving weight, I do not suggest putting your wetsuit in. Wetsuits do weigh more than you think. So generally speaking, I would put my wetsuit in my carry-on bag or maybe another check-on bag. I've done both. You can kind of roll it up and put it on a backpack on the outside, but generally keeping your wetsuit out of your board bag will help save weight. The only other thing that I also include in the bag is a hardware kit. And it's just a small, I'll show you that in a moment, but it's soft. I put any kind of hardware in a tool inside my check-on bag. Note, you can't be guaranteed that your tools are going to make it with you if you put them in your bag that you're putting on the airplane as your carry-on. Some places where you go through security, they are not going to allow you the hardware or the screwdriver. They look at that as a possible weapon. It happened on our last trip. They were able to get down to where we were when we went down to Mexico, but on the way back, they confiscated all the hardware and the tools that were in the bag that we had for carry-on. So that's just some things to know. So again, 747 bag. I want to break into it here a little bit and show you what it looks like packed. I have found real success with things arriving undamaged like this. So I've got my 2 wings, and in this case, I generally travel, again, depends on where you're going in the wing conditions. But when I did go down to La Ventana this year, I brought a 4 and a 5 meter, which worked perfect for the winds that we had that week. Again, you got to think about your wind conditions, and generally speaking, you can do a meter between them or potentially a meter and a half between your 2 wings when you go on a vacation. Another weight-saving thing that I have learned is you don't need your wing foil bags. Those bags add weight. So as you see here inside this bag, there are no bags on the wings. The wings that I have are booms and boom wings, and I've traveled with the booms on the wings and off the wings. You can do it either way. And in this case, I've traveled with them separate. I took them off the wings themselves, and I have them strapped in here. So I'll go ahead and take out my 2 wings. I put the wings on the side of the bag, kind of on the side and top, kind of helps protect the edges. This bag though has really good protection already on its own, but just putting them in here kind of loosely, kind of stacking them, I roll them up, kind of put them on the edge and shove them down in there. It just kind of adds that extra protection for the rails of your board. And then I put the booms on top. They're on top and they're strapped in. These Manera bags, I love the fact they have these interior straps, because when you are in transit, things do slide around inside the bag a bit. So that's important. Another key thing I like to show before I start taking things out of here is I put my Mast with the plate off the back. That plate actually helps as protection on the back of the board. On the nose of the board, that's where I put my harness. So that harness acts as protection for the nose of the board. I have found, generally speaking, using your harness in the front, putting the plate down here, and usually the bottom of these bags, like this one in particular, has a little bit more protection already. So I have not had any board damage. I've also put a little foam before on the front of the board and the back of the board. Again, that's kind of up to you and how much you want to protect it. I've done that traveling with good success as well. Just that lightweight foam. I wrapped it around there and I put some clear tape on it. If you're going to bring tape with you on a trip, one way you can do that is with your screwdriver. You can wrap the tape around the screwdriver, and that way you can use it on your way home. So those are just some travel trips if you want to take tape to secure any extra protection on your board. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my 2 wings here. This bag also has some kind of these Velcro little compartments on the side. I had thought about putting my hardware in there, but you don't really want anything that's abrasive or sharp in there, up against your board. So I don't generally use those things. That's where I kind of stuff the wings themselves. The 2 areas that you want to be real aware of when you're packing a board is the nose and the tail. Generally speaking, bags have pretty good protection on the tail, just the way they built it for the wheels and everything that's under here. Where the weak spot in the bags, no matter how much padding they do, is in the nose. So depending on how long your board is, the tighter the fit actually is a little bit better if you're going to use your harness for protection, because it won't move. But in this case, it's a 5'9" board with a 6'2" bag. I'm probably going to add a little bit of protection foam to the nose of this board. And then even with my harness here, so it doesn't move, I may wrap a little tape or a strap around there so that my harness doesn't move. It stays to help protect the nose of the board. So those are just two things to be aware of when you're packing. Those protection predominantly for the nose, and you can add a towel, beach towel or something at the back of your board as well. I always bring the old school pumps instead of the electric pumps, just in case the electric fails. Or you can't get it charged right, or you didn't bring the charger. I just feel Old Faithful. They work, and you know they're going to work for you on your trip. If you have to bring a pump, I usually set the pump on the top here, and then kind of snake the hose in. That'll add 3 pounds. Pumps are usually 3 pounds. If I take out one of my front wings, because I have 2 front wings in here, it would be at 50. Again, though, if you add the pump, that's 3 pounds of weight, just to be aware of. Sometimes you don't have to bring a pump with you, though. You can have someone else in your group do it. If you're traveling with somebody else, everyone doesn't need their own pump when they're there. And sometimes places have pumps, or you can borrow a pump. Just something to note. So if you have questions about that, give us a call here, send us a chat, send us an email. We'd be happy to help you out with sizing. Again, generally, I like to size up. And sometimes it depends on, like this bag only comes in certain sizes, so you want to kind of plan accordingly. Again, it's been Jeff at MACkite. Enjoy the stow.